Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Okay, today what will we revise? We will revise biological molecules and all digestion, and we will solve paper 2, the 2023 June exam. This is what we do today. Okay, can you all hear me? Can someone give me an answer, please? Hello? Is my screen shared?
Yes.
Okay. Now, we will study or we will revise biological molecules because it's going to appear in your upcoming exam. First, before I start, does anyone have any questions over a particular lesson? Today we will revise digestion and finish it, and next time we will finish reproduction and inheritance. We will start with biological molecules. Now, I think in the last online we did talk about the different foods. We will jump directly now to the different nutrients and why they are needed. Okay, now I think this is really easy. We'll start with diet and food. Diet is the food that you eat, okay? And we need this food for energy to give us this energy is needed for chemical reactions, for movement, to maintain body temperature, for active transport, for the transmission of nerve impulses, and so on. Now, what are the different nutrients that you need? You need carbohydrates and proteins and lipids and vitamins and minerals and fiber and water. It's a very easy lesson. Now, of course, carbohydrates, it is needed for what? What's the main function of carbohydrates? Why do we eat carbohydrates quickly?
Energy.
For energy. Proteins, what are proteins needed for?
Muscle repair.
Growth and repair. We need also proteins for other things, like we need proteins for the making of hormones, for the making of enzymes, for the making of cell membranes. Proteins is needed for a lot of things. Now, fats, they are also needed, even if they are needed in small amounts. Why are fats important?
For warmth. For energy and insulation, protection.
Exactly. Everything you said is correct. For warmth, to insulate our body parts, and to give us energy storage. And also fats are important for the making of hormones. Don't forget that. Now, fiber. Fiber is a very important story. What is fiber anyway? Fiber
It's
is
the undigestible part in the plant, the cell wall.
exactly. This is fiber. And why, even though it is not digested, why is fiber very important?
Adds bulk.
It adds bulk to food, and when your food is bulky, this will encourage what?
Prevents constipation.
Peristalsis.
Very good. It will prevent constipation, like your friend here, and it will encourage peristalsis, like what you see here. Peristalsis, it is a series of contractions of circular and longitudinal muscles. These are the circular muscles, and the muscles that are aligned longitudinally are called longitudinal muscles, and these muscles are antagonistic. What are antagonistic mean? What does antagonistic? What does it mean?
Muscles that work oppositely. When one contracts, the other relaxes in the opposite.
Exactly. Very good. Okay. And if you don't have fiber in your food, if your food is all candy and sugar and sweets and soft foods, you will suffer from constipation like this guy, or God forbid, colon cancer. Okay. Now, this is peristalsis. I think the pictures show you that the peristalsis is very important for pushing the food along your digestive tract. You see here? Okay. Now we have then vitamins. We don't want to skip the vitamins. Now this picture tells you that you're eating too much of what?
Fats.
Cholesterol.
Very good, yes. You are eating too much saturated fats and cholesterol. That will reduce the blood supply to the heart and give you, God forbid, coronary heart disease. And we will revise this lesson or this disease when we study circulation. So don't eat lots of fats, just a little amount of fats. The same idea. These are the fats or the plaque. It's called the plaque. Okay. Now, did we talk about, now this is not very nice. This is when you don't eat enough food and you reach starvation. And of course, this is an example of malnutrition. Now, calcium, quickly. Calcium is important for what? No, this should not take a minute.
Healthy bones.
Bones and teeth,
Blood
also
clotting.
muscle contraction, conduction of nerve impulses, the action of platelets. Calcium is important. Now, what's the relationship between vitamin D and calcium?
Calcium helps in the absorption of vitamin D.
No, the opposite. Vitamin D helps in the absorption of calcium. Okay? Vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin that is stored in the fat stores in your body, activated by the sun exposure. And the vitamin D helps in the absorption of calcium. So they are friends, they work together. You need to have both in your body in order to benefit from vitamin D and calcium. Okay, if you have a deficiency in vitamin D and calcium, what deficiency disease will result?
Rickets.
Okay, what you have here in the picture, this is soft bone in children or soft bone in adults is called osteomalacia, okay, like this patient. Fine, now talk to me about iron. Why is iron important, especially in females?
To prevent anemia.
Yes, there's noise. Hello, everyone. There's noise in the background. I'm sorry, I will have to unmute you. I'll have to mute you. If you have a question, raise your hand. Yes, iron is important for the making of hemoglobin, and hemoglobin is found in red blood cells, and red blood cells carry oxygen, and red blood cells or iron is important so that we want to prevent the disease anemia, which is another deficiency disease. It's more common in females because females every month they lose a certain amount of blood. So we need to replace that by eating food rich in iron. Okay, what else? What else? What else? Did we talk about water? Water is very important. The basal metabolic rate, this is the minimum amount of energy that we need to stay alive. And children, they have a higher basal metabolic rate than adults. And males, they have a higher basal metabolic rate than females because males, they have bigger bodies and more muscle mass, etc., etc. Okay? Yes, now we are studying the balanced diet, and we should know that a balanced diet for me is going to be different than a balanced diet for you because the balanced diet is affected by your age. It's affected by the gender, whether you're a male or a female, and it is affected by your activity levels. If you are active, you will need more food than if you were not active. If you are active and athletic like this girl, you will need much more food and specific diet than if you're not active like every one of us. Okay? And this man is very happy with his muscles. Now we talked about the fat, sugar. Too much sugar will cause decay, inflammation in your body. People that are vegetarian like this man, they have to be very careful because they will miss a lot of nutrients because they're not eating all the foods they need. Okay. Fate of carbohydrates, this is important. I'm going to unmute you so you can unmute yourselves. Now, this is important. When we eat carbohydrates, let's say we eat starch. How does this starch end in your body? It will be digested to give you what?
Maltose.
Rose.
Yes, it will be digested to be, or to give me the final product will be glucose. This glucose is going to be converted into what? It's going to be used where, number one? We use it for what? Why do we need glucose so much? Come on.
And respiration?
Yes,
For
of
energy
course,
respiration.
we need it in respiration to give us energy. Now we have an excess. It will be stored as what? In animals, for example.
Fats under the skin?
Before the fats, yes, it will be stored as glycogen in the liver. And if we are still eating lots and lots of sugars, it will be turned into fats. Now, glucose in plants, is it stored as glycogen?
Starch.
Yes, it is stored as starch. Okay. This is the diagram that we just talked about here. Fine fats, we talked about fiber, nice pictures. Vitamin C. Vitamin C is a water-soluble vitamin, and vitamin C, why is it important? And what will happen if you don't have enough vitamin C in your diet? Come on, this is
You'll get scurvy.
Scurvy.
Yes, you will suffer from scurvy. It's important for healthy tissue, healthy skin, long hair, long nails. And if you don't have vitamin C, you will have inflamed skin and inflamed gums like scurvy. This is scurvy, okay? And your wounds will not heal properly, etc., etc. You will look like a Dracula. Fine, okay. Water. Water is very important. We always ignore water. Why is water important? Tell me.
Activates the enzyme.
Yes, you are correct. Water is important for all chemical reactions in the body.
Metabolic reactions.
All reactions need water. It's a transport medium. Everything in your body is transported in water. Everything in your body that is excreted in solution. Think about it. The urine, the feces, the sweat, your tears, everything that comes out of your body comes out with a percentage of water. Water is very important in plants because it provides plants with support. It is needed by plants for photosynthesis. It is needed by plants in transpiration. We need it as animals in order to control our body temperature. Water has a lot of uses. Okay, water is very important. Don't ignore it. This is what is this picture?
A fetal in an amniotic sac.
Yes, it's surrounded by water, and water here gives it movement and mobility, and the water is warm, gives it warmth, etc., etc., etc. All this is the list that we just mentioned. Okay, deficiency diseases. We just grouped them. We talked about scurvy, rickets, and osteomalacia, poor immunity if you have a deficiency in vitamin A, constipation and colon cancer if you don't eat fiber, anemia if you don't eat iron. And this is another picture of scurvy. And this is the lesson. Now, these energy requirements, they're very logic here, and they usually show up in page 6. If you have an average female and you're comparing her diet with a pregnant female, who needs more food and why?
The pregnant female, because she has a baby that needs energy and nutrients.
Of course. And comparing the pregnant female with a breastfeeding female that is producing milk, who will need more calcium and more carbs, the breastfeeding or the pregnant?
The breast.
Yes, because the requirements of the child is increasing every day because the child is growing, okay? Sometimes they can ask you a tricky question. What about an average female? A female that is not breastfeeding, she's not pregnant, and she's just sustaining. Does she need to eat protein, or you will say, no, she does not need any protein?
No, she does.
Of course. Now, why? To maintain what she already has. This average female, she already has a few muscles. We want to keep those muscles. So to maintain her, her muscles and tissues and to repair any worn out tissues. So it's not because she's an average female. This means that she will not eat. She will need proteins to maintain and repair her muscles and her tissues, what she already has. Of course, children need the most food for growth and puberty and hormones and blah, blah, blah. Okay, we're done with this easy, short lesson. Any questions? Anyone has any issues about that?
No.
Okay, why are you upset? And then we have digestion. Digestion is a very easy lesson and a very important one at the same time. When you come to study digestion, okay, this is core, we don't want core. When we come to study digestion, the easiest thing to do is that you will draw the digestive system and you will break it down to different organs and you will ask yourself what each organ does. So help me draw it. What is the first organ here that I'm drawing in the digestive system? Huh?
The mouth.
The mouth, okay? And then it is followed by what do I have here?
Esophagus.
Esophagus.
Exactly. Esophagus. And then what do I have here?
Stomach.
Exactly. This is the stomach. And then this is the first part of the small intestine. What is it called?
Duodenum.
Duodenum. I'm going to make 2 openings coming out of the duodenum, and you will remind me why in a minute. And then I have the what's this?
Small intestine.
Small intestine. Very good. I'll change color. And then I have, what is this?
Large intestine.
The large intestine. And then here I have an area that stores the feces. What is it called?
Rectum.
Gallbladder.
rectum, and then I have the final opening, which is the
Anus.
anus. Good. Now, let's break it down bit by bit. The mouth. What do I have in the mouth that helps me in digestion?
Amylase.
Very
Yes.
good. I have in my saliva, I have the amylase enzyme. Now, this will make me ask you, this amylase enzyme here helps in chemical or physical digestion?
Chemical.
Tell me, what is the difference between chemical and physical digestion?
Chemical
Chemical involves enzymes.
Yes, but this is not the definition.
is the breakdown of large food molecules.
Okay, large, I have a word that's missing.
Insoluble.
Correct.
Insoluble.
Large insoluble food molecules into small.
Soluble molecules.
Actually, both types of digestion, chemical and physical, break down large food molecules to smaller food molecules. They both break down food from large pieces to small pieces. The difference is in chemical digestion, there is a change in the chemistry of the food. I will break it from large insoluble to large soluble. Like starch will be broken down to give me what?
Maltose and glucose.
Glucose. So I changed the whole structure of the food. It was starch that has a particular molecular formula, and now it's glucose that has a completely different molecular formula altogether. So this is the chemical digestion. I use enzymes, correct, and I will convert or change the chemistry of the food. I will break chemical bonds. I will make it or change it from insoluble to soluble. Okay, now talk to me about the physical digestion.
From large pieces to smaller pieces to increase the surface area.
Perfect. Do I change the chemistry of the food?
No.
No, I do not change the chemistry of the food. It's as if I got a large sandwich and I broke it down into smaller pieces. That's it, to increase the surface area so that I help the enzymes to work next. So in digestion, we always start with physical. We will break down the food into smaller pieces, and then we will continue with the chemical. We will continue with the enzymes. And this is done to increase the surface area. The importance of the physical digestion to increase the surface area. Okay, very good. Now, in the mouth, we said we have the salivary amylase. Now, remind me, the salivary amylase breaks down what to what? This amylase enzyme. Quickly.
Breaks down starch to glucose.
No, starch to?
Maltose.
Yes, to maltose. Good. Now, what is the optimum pH in the mouth?
7.
Yes,
7.
it's neutral. Correct. Now, what else do you have in your mouth that will help in digestion?
Teeth.
Teeth. Very good. Now, the teeth, when we study the teeth, we will study the different layers of the teeth. The first layer of the teeth, the strongest layer, is called the what?
Enamel.
It is made up of mainly
Calcium.
calcium, 99% calcium, sometimes phosphate ions. And then below that, I have the weaker layer called the
Dentin.
dentin. Okay, and then below the dentin, I have the layer that is full of nerves and blood vessels, which is called the
Bulb.
Pulp cavity.
Yes, correct. I have a layer here that will connect the root with the gums. It's called the what? Cement or cementum. You usually ignore that. And the part that you see from the tooth is called the crown. The part inside the bone is the root. And the red tissue surrounding your teeth are the gums. Anything hard about the different layers of the teeth? Okay. Now, the different types of teeth. The teeth found at the beginning of your mouth, they're called the what?
Incisors.
Very good. And it is used for biting or crushing food.
Biting.
Biting food. And then followed by the canine for tearing food. Please, I don't want any noise in the background. And then I have premolars and molars, and they both do one thing. They both do what?
Grinding.
Very good. They crush food or they grind food. Now, teeth is really, really easy. Now, why do they become decayed? What causes tooth decay? Tell me. Now, come on. This is very easy. Huh? You brush your teeth or you don't brush your teeth.
Don't brush your teeth.
Yes, you don't brush your teeth. So what?
Not getting enough going to dental checkups.
Yes, you have poor oral hygiene. You're not taking care of your teeth. You don't brush, you don't go to the dentist, you don't do dental flossing, you don't do mouthwash, nothing. So food will remain inside your teeth. Who will break down this food?
Acids. Lactic acid, I
Bacteria.
think.
Yeah, bacteria in your mouth will break down this food. And when this food is broken down by the bacteria, it will produce what you just said it.
Lactic acid.
Very good. It will produce lactic acid. And this lactic acid will dissolve the enamel. Okay? So this can be an essay question on its own. Why do you get caries? Why do you have caries? Because you have food remains. You don't brush your teeth. And this food will be broken down by bacteria in your mouth. This bacteria will break down the food in anaerobic respiration without oxygen. This will give me lactic acid as a waste product. This lactic acid is strong enough and it will dissolve the what?
No.
The enamel. And with time, you will have a cavity. If this is your tooth, with time, you will have a cavity. And this cavity, if it reaches the dentin, it will cause pain. So to prevent decay, brush your teeth, don't eat lots of candy, go to the doctor, use dental floss, mouthwash, take care of your teeth, especially at night. Brush your teeth before you go to bed. Any questions about teeth and decay? So we're done with the teeth. Sometimes people add fluoride to drinking water. Sometimes you see fluoride in your toothpaste. Fluoride will simply make your teeth harder and not easy to decay. But sometimes this fluoride can change the taste of the water or can make you have some type of allergy. That's not very common. So we're done with the teeth. Okay. We finished whatever we have inside the mouth. We also have the tongue. Don't forget the tongue. Why is the tongue important? Quickly.
Mix the food with the
Swirl
saliva.
food around.
Yes, it will mix the food with the saliva and it will create a bolus. Okay. Also, so we don't forget, your saliva makes your food soft and your food needs to be soft in order to be able to swallow it. Now we're done with the mouth and then we will move to the what?
Esophagus.
Esophagus. Does the esophagus play any part in digestion?
No.
Yes.
Just spread the food.
It doesn't play any part in digestion. It will simply push the food down. It will push it down from the mouth to the stomach. How does it push it down?
Peristalsis.
That's it. It will simply do peristalsis and push it down, And peristalsis is done with a set of antagonistic muscles, circular and longitudinal muscles that work in opposite direction. And then it will push it to reach where? To go to which organ?
The stomach.
The stomach. So now we have the stomach next. We will talk about the stomach. How does the stomach help in digestion?
Contain gastric juices.
Yes, the stomach contains gastric juices. But the stomach, we want to answer this question in order. The stomach, it will do both mechanical digestion and chemical digestion. In mechanical digestion, what does it do? What
The
do you think
churning
of this
effect.
picture? Yes, the mechanical digestion of the stomach. The stomach, don't forget, it is a bag of muscle. It's a muscle. The stomach is a muscle. So like any muscle, it will contract and relax. Look at this muscular wall. See, it's contracting. This is called churning. It will mix the food together. This is mechanical digestion. And what is the objective of mechanical digestion? Any mechanical digestion is done to do what?
Increase the surface area.
Correct. Okay. So we always start with mechanical digestion because my mechanical digestion will break the food down into smaller pieces and this will increase the surface area. And then this is followed by number 2, which is what?
Chemical digestion.
Correct. So in any organ in your digestive system, when you ask how it helps in digestion, always start by mechanical followed by chemical, mechanical followed by chemical. And the mechanical part, they are all the same. By peristalsis, they all are made of a tube of muscle. Your small intestine is a muscle, your stomach is a muscle. They are all muscles. The movement of these digestive tubes, they help in breaking down the food into smaller pieces. But mainly the physical digestion takes place by your teeth. Okay, now we're done with the churning, and then we will jump into the chemical part. What does the stomach produce?
Gastric juices.
Okay, what is the composition of those gastric juices? What does the gastric juice contain?
Enzymes.
It contains which enzyme?
Pepsin.
Yes, the pepsin enzyme. And this pepsin enzyme, what does it break down?
Proteins.
Yes, continue. Into what?
Into amino acids.
Into amino acid. Thank you. What else is produced by the stomach? We have the pepsin enzyme. What else that kills bacteria? The stomach produces what? What is this? Hello? Are you with me? Hello? Can you-
Yes, we can hear you now.
Where did you go? We are in the stomach. We said that the stomach produces pepsin. And this pepsin is an enzyme that will break down proteins into amino acids. And what else does it produce? What is HCl? Yes.
HCl.
What is HCl?
Hydrochloric acid.
Yes, wait.
Hydrochloric acid
This hydrochloric acid, what is the function of this hydrochloric acid?
kills the bacteria and provides a
Medium.
suitable
Yes, thank you.
environment of
Where were you? It
pepsin.
kills the bacteria and provides the optimum pH for the pepsin enzyme. Okay, very good. What else? What else? We're finished. So we're done. And together, all the juices in the stomach are called the gastric juices. So we're done with the stomach. Now, after all this is done in the stomach, this acidic solution, and by the way, I don't want to forget that the mechanical, yes, we did say churning. Now, this acidic food will then move into the first part of the small intestine, which is called what?
Duodenum.
Very good. Now, does the duodenum, what does the duodenum do? This is the
It
duodenum.
receives.
Excellent. This is the duodenum. See, it's the first part of the small intestine. Everything in your stomach will enter the duodenum. The duodenum is simply a receiver. It does not do any type of digestion. It will simply receive. What does it receive? It receives two liquids from two different organs.
It receives bile from the liver.
Excellent. It will receive bile from the liver, and it will receive what else?
Pancreatic juices from the pancreas.
Excellent. Pancreatic juices. Let's break them down and talk about each one on its own. This is the duodenum again. It is a receiver. Okay. We said that the duodenum will receive bile. Let's discuss bile in detail because it is in your supplement syllabus. Bile, where is it produced?
In the liver.
Very good. It is produced in the liver. This is my liver. Where is it stored?
In the
Gallbladder.
Very good. And this small organ just below the liver, the gallbladder, stored in the gallbladder. Who will carry the bile from the liver or from the gallbladder to the duodenum?
bile duct.
The bile duct.
Excellent. The bile duct. Good. Now, what is the composition of the bile? The bile is made up of what? Two things.
Sodium bicarbonate.
Excellent. Sodium.
Bile salts.
Excellent. Sodium bicarbonate and two bile salts, and each one has a different function. Can you tell me what does the bile salt do?
Break the emulsification of fats.
Perfect. And what is the emulsification of fats?
Breakdown of fats.
Yes, in physical digestion or chemical digestion?
Chemical.
Physical.
Physical. I have a big droplet of fat and it will be broken down into smaller droplets. That's it. I will increase the surface area of fats. I will not break it down into fatty acid and glycerol yet. I am doing this to help the lipase to work next. So the bile salts, their only function is for the physical breakdown of fat or emulsification. Did I ever say that bile contain enzymes?
No.
No, bile has no enzymes at all. So bile does not help in chemical digestion. Okay, what is the function of the sodium bicarbonate then?
Neutralize the HCl.
Excellent. To neutralize the hydrochloric acid or the acidic media coming from the stomach. So we're done with the bile. Next, we have the pancreas. Let me show you a picture of the pancreas. Where is it? No picture? Okay, no picture. The pancreas, what does it produce?
Pancreatic juice.
Yes, very good. We have the pancreatic juice. What is the composition of the pancreatic juice? Again, it is made up of two things.
Sodium bicarbonate and
Correct. Again, it does have sodium bicarbonate, which has the same function as the sodium carbonate coming in the bile. What is the function of the sodium bicarbonate?
neutralize the HCl coming from the stomach.
Exactly, the same function. Now, the other composition of pancreatic juices, it has a collection of what?
Enzymes.
Yes, a collection of enzymes, all the enzymes that you can think of. Pancreatic amylase, let's write them down. Pancreatic maltase, or just maltase. We have trypsin, not pepsin. Pepsin in the stomach, trypsin in the small intestine. What is the enzyme that breaks down fat? Called lipase. Okay. Now tell me, the amylase, what does it break down?
Starch into maltose.
Yes, starch into maltose. And then the maltase
Maltose into
Glucose.
into glucose, correct. The trypsin,
Breaks protein to amino acid.
yes, proteins into amino acids. And the lipase,
fats into fatty acids.
Fatty acid and glycerol.
fatty acid and glycerol. Very good. Okay. And again, the pancreas will send those pancreatic juices via a small tube to the duodenum. This tube is called the what?
Pancreatic duct.
Perfect. Okay, so we're done with the duodenum. The duodenum is an important part, even though it doesn't help in digestion, but it receives the pancreatic juices from the pancreas and it receives the bile from the liver. Okay, very good. And then we will move to the small intestine. What are the two functions, or actually maybe three functions of the small intestine? This is the small intestine. What are the three functions of the small intestine? Help me. Number one,
Absorption.
Absorption of water.
before absorption.
Assimilation.
No.
Breaks down the
Finishes
food
off
that
Yes. Who said something? Someone said something?
Finishes off digestion.
Correct. The food, when it reaches the small intestine, it is not 100% digested yet. I still have 5 to 10% of food that has not been digested. So the small intestine will finish the digestion. Okay, so step number one, the first function of the small intestine, it will finish off digestion, like your friend said. How does it do that? It also produces a collection of enzymes. It produces all the enzymes that we just mentioned, the same enzymes in the pancreas, the amylase and the maltase and the lipase and the trypsin, everything. Okay? The epithelial cells in the wall of the small intestine also produces enzymes. Now, the second step after the digestion is finished, what does it absorb?
Water from
The answer.
food.
It will absorb the food and it will absorb the water. Okay, so if let's divide it down, the small intestine, two main functions. Function number one, it will finish off digestion by releasing a collection of enzymes. Two, it will do absorption. It's very good at absorption, actually. It's very adapted. It will absorb everything. It will absorb the food. It will absorb the fatty acid and glycerol. It will absorb the water. It's very, very good in absorption. Now, why is it good in absorption? Why is it very adapted in absorption? What is it made up of? What does what did you say?
Thin walls.
Okay, it has thin walls for fast diffusion. Fine. What are these?
villi and microvilli.
Villi and the microvilli. Okay. Now, the villi and the microvilli. How will I study it? I'm going to draw the inside of the small intestine. I will draw many folds on both layers. Every single fold is known as the villi. I will take one villi and I will zoom in. I will find that the walls of the villi are lined with small cells. What are they called?
Epithelial layers.
Yes, the epithelial cells. And these epithelial cells themselves, they have micro.
Villi.
Very good, because a lot of students get confused between the villi and the microvilli. The villi is one big fold. This is the villi that is lined by epithelial cells. These are the epithelial cells. And these epithelial cells are further lined with microvilli. So the microvilli is smaller than the villi. They both have the same function, which is to increase the what?
Surface area.
Correct, to increase the surface area. Now, this villi absorbs all types of food. It absorbs the glucose and the amino acids and the vitamins and the minerals, everything. And it also absorbs the fats. Which part of the villi absorbs the fat? A or B or C in this picture? A or B or C?
B.
B. And this part, this vessel that absorbs the fats, it has a name. What is the name?
Lactine.
Lactine. See, it is clearly mentioned in your syllabus. Objective 5, describe the roles of the capillaries and the lacteals. The lacteals, they absorb the fatty acid and the glycerol and the fat-soluble vitamins because they're bigger in size. Now, what do the capillaries absorb? A are the epithelium. C is the capillary. C, what does the capillary absorb? Come on. The capillaries absorb everything else, the glucose, the amino acids, the vitamins, the minerals, everything else. Okay, capillaries also absorb the water. Water, how is the water absorbed? I don't know why I'm speaking to myself. Is this hard? What Speak up. Yes, water is always absorbed by osmosis. No negotiation. Never, ever bring water and diffusion or water and active transport in one sentence. Water in the liquid state is absorbed by osmosis. Now, the glucose and the amino acids and the rest, how are they absorbed?
Diffusion or active transport?
Yes, we start by diffusion and then we follow by active transport. If someone wants a little bit more detail, this is my small intestine and this is the villi. At the very beginning, after I immediately eat my food, I have lots of glucose. So I have more glucose concentration in A than in B. So how will the glucose move from A to B? By diffusion or active transport?
Diffusion. Active transport.
Very good, diffusion. And then when the amount of the glucose decreases, I only have one molecule. I only have one molecule in the small intestine, in the insides of the small intestine. Where did the rest of the glucose go? It is here. It has already been absorbed by diffusion, but I want this one single molecule. I will not leave it. So now it will move from low concentration to high concentration. How then will it move from A to B?
By active transport.
Yes, by active transport. Now the small intestine is also designed to do active transport very efficiently. What are the requirements of active transport? What do you need to do active transport? Come on. Hello? Hello?
Yes, yes.
Yes, what do you need in order to do active transport?
Energy.
Yes, so the small intestine has which organelle that will provide it with energy?
Mitochondria.
Yes. The small intestine has lots of mitochondria. It has lots of carrier proteins because it needs those in active transport. Now we can answer the question of how is the small intestine adapted for absorption? We have 7 points. If you can think of any other points, tell me. It's very long to increase the what? Surface area. It is lined with a layer of epithelium that is folded to give me villi and microvilli that also increases the what? Surface area. And I said microvilli here again. The wall is very thin. It is one cell thick only for a shorter diffusion distance. We have lots of mitochondria and protein carriers for active transport. I have so many blood capillaries to quickly absorb the digested food, the glucose and amino acids, blah, blah, blah. I have a lacteal vessel that absorbs the fatty acid and the glycerol and the fat-soluble vitamins to return it to the blood. Okay? Because this objective is supplement, it's not core. Any questions? This is the nice picture here showing you the central lacteal, and I have the capillaries, and everything is nice and clear. Anyone has any questions over the small intestine and how it is adapted, etc., etc.?
No, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Now, what about the undigested food? Where does it go?
Large intestines.
Yes, it goes to the large intestine, and then it will be stored where? Until you go to the bathroom?
The rectum.
Yes, the rectum. Now, both the large intestine and the small intestine absorb water, but which one absorbs more water?
The small intestine.
Thank you so much. Okay. Now, after we finish digestion, all this digested food will be taken to which organ? Go directly to the?
Liver.
Correct. Who will take it to the liver? What's the name of the blood vessel that will take it to the liver?
Hepatic portal vein.
Yes, the hepatic portal vein. And we will study again the hepatic portal vein when we study the lesson blood circulation. Now, what will the liver do to all the food it receives? I will take all this digested food. What do I do to it?
Produce
Produce what?
bile.
Produce bile. Okay, yes, the liver produces bile, but I'm talking about all the food that I will get from the small intestine. The liver will do a process of filtration. It will filter all this food, okay, before it sends it to the whole body. What type of filtration? What does it do? If you are taking excess medicine, you're sick, it will break down where?
In the liver.
In the liver. If you are drinking alcohol, will this alcohol go straight to your blood? It will kill you. It has to be broken down where? In the
Liver.
liver. If you're eating too much glucose, I want to store some of it. It will be stored as
Glycogen.
glycogen. Okay, if I'm eating lots of amino acids, it will be broken down in a process called
Deamination.
deamination. And don't worry about number 4 because we will study it in the lesson excretion. Okay? It will produce bile, yes. These are the functions, generally the functions of the liver. But we're talking about what does the liver do to the food it receives from the small intestine. Okay, and then we talked about the large intestine. And we're done with the lesson digestion. Here is the large intestine, and this is the undigested food here that will be released in the bathroom in egestion. What is the word assimilation? What does assimilation mean?
When the food becomes part of the cell.
Yes, when the food enters the cell and becomes part of the cell. Very good. Okay. The labeling is very important. You have this picture in your notes because it's nicely labeled here, showing you the stomach, the duodenum. The duodenum is the first part of the small intestine that will receive the small intestine, the large intestine. This is the rectum here and the anus. Anyone has any questions?
Thank you.
No, I'm not finished. Where are you going? Okay, we will talk about these hormones when we study excretion. This is the pancreas. I was looking for this picture. Okay, and I think we talked about all the hormones. Fine, now what will we do now? We are not finished. We will go to the 2023 exams because this is what I did in the other classes, so I'll do the same with you. And we will solve a whole exam. It will take us exactly 15 minutes, by the way. So don't worry. Let's solve one of the exams. I thought that variant 22, this was last year's exam, the exam that your friends solved just last June, okay? If you notice, the new syllabus has a different code 0970. So don't worry when you see 0970 on your exam. Okay. Which process occurs both in plants and animals? Quickly, let's finish this exam so I let you go.
A.
Yes, A, not phagocytosis, not photosynthesis, and not transpiration, because these two happen in plants. 2, some statements about species are given. 1, members of a species all look identical, or members of a species belong to the same genus, or members of a species can produce fertile offspring, or species are named using an international system. Which statements are correct?
C.
C.
No. And what about 3? 3 is not correct?
D.
On the contrary, D, 2, 3, and 4, yes. 1, members of a species all look identical. This is wrong. We are all one species. We are not identical, but we all belong to the same genus. We all can produce and give fertile offspring, and we are named using an international system. So the answer is 2, 3, and 4 are correct. We don't want any mistakes in paper 2, okay? Focus. Which structures are found in the cells of all living organisms? Is the cell membrane found in all living organisms?
Yes.
Okay, chloroplast,
No.
No.
cytoplasm.
Yes.
Yes. So the answer is 1 and 3, which is
B. C.
C. Pay attention. Okay. Now, in the diagram of this palisade cell, what's a palisade cell?
Plant cell.
Plant cell.
Correct. The distance between X and Y, this distance is 20 millimeters. And the actual width of the cell between X and Y is 40 micrometers. Now, we will stop here. What is wrong?
We have to convert into the
Units, different units.
Correct. We will convert the millimeters to micrometers or the micrometers to millimeters.
millimeters to
Millimeters to
micrometers.
micrometer.
Yes, always convert to the smaller unit. How do we convert the millimeter to micrometer?
Multiply 1000. Multiply by 1000.
So this would be 20, 1, 2, 3 micrometers. Let's now continue. What is the magnification? Who will remind me of the equation?
I am.
I am. Okay.
It's
Don't tell me that.
actual size.
Don't tell me that the magnification equation is in the lesson cells and cells is not in the term exam. The magnification was going to come in paper 6. I'm telling you, magnification is one of the basic concepts of paper 6. So study the equation.
20,000 divided by 40.
Excellent. What will be the answer? Who will calculate? 20,000 divided by 40. I think it's 500. Times 500. Okay. Now the diagram shows a root hair cell. When does water enter the cell by osmosis? Now let's concentrate here. When the concentration of solutes means the salts, outside the cell is greater than inside the cell. I have so much salt. This will make water move out or in?
Out.
Out.
So is this right or wrong? We want to know when will the water move in, not out. So A is right or wrong?
Wrong.
Wrong. Correct. B, when the concentration of solutes inside and outside are equal. Right or wrong?
Wrong.
Wrong. This is an isotonic condition. Here, the amount of water moving out will equal the amount of water moving in. C, when the water potential inside the cell is higher than outside the cell. I have too much water inside, so this will make the water move out or in?
Out.
Out. So C is right or wrong?
Right.
Wrong.
Wrong. Who said right? Now let's read D. When the water potential outside the cell is higher than inside the cell. I have so much water outside. So this will make it move in. So D is the correct answer. Anyone confused? Anyone confused? Okay. Which row shows the changes that occur during the germination of a seed? Now, who will remind me? Germination starts by photosynthesis or respiration?
Respiration.
Respiration.
Thank you. So the answer will not be A or B. It would be C or D. So I will cross out A and B. So the respiration rate will be increased. The amount of energy needed, what do you think? Increase or decrease?
Decrease.
Again, I need energy to respire, or the respiration will what? How ions are absorbed. If this is confusing you, let's jump to the last column. Ions are absorbed always by what?
Active transport.
Active
Yes.
transport.
So the answer is definitely D. Okay. I will need, of course, more energy to grow, to germinate. The diagram shows the human alimentary canal. In which structure is most of the glucose absorbed in the blood? This is so easy. C, of course. Absorption happens here. This was last year's exam. It was relatively a nice one. DNA contains pairs of bases. Which pair shows a correct combination of bases?
B.
Yes, CG. In which region of the alimentary canal is the maltose digested?
Small intestines.
Yes, small intestine. Good. Okay, I hope you notice that we can solve most of the questions. So start working on your past papers. The graphs show the effect of temperature on enzyme activity. This enzyme has an optimum temperature of 30 degrees. Which graph shows the effect of temperature on the activity of this enzyme? It's very easy. Which one shows an optimum temperature? Yes.
D.
Yes. If anyone has any objections or you have any questions, ask. 11 is plants, so we will not answer it now, or 12. 13 is okay. The lack of which component of a balanced diet will lead to the development of scurvy?
Vitamin C.
Vitamin C.
Correct. Which structure is the duodenum?
C.
Duodenum is C. Yes.
C.
Okay. Now 15 is plants. Let's leave that. 16 is plants. 17 circulation. 18 circulation. 19 cholera. We didn't take it yet. Okay. 20 respiration. Not yet. Again, respiration. All this we didn't take. All this is coordination. All this we didn't take. 27. Read it. And tell me what do you think the answer.
C. Oh, no, I think
B.
no, no, not C, not C. B.
B.
Okay, what did you say? What's the advantage? It's B, it's not C.
B. أيوة B.
B,
Because
because it's
Because it
fast.
won't have variation because it's reduced.
Yes, this is not an advantage. This is the disadvantage. And actually it's wrong. Populations show lots of variation. Asexual reproduction does not show variation. B. Okay.
Sexual reproduction.
Yes. Okay. Now this question. The diagram shows the structure of part of a flower. The arrow represents the transfer of pollen. Which statement about the arrow is correct? Correct. The arrow represents cross-pollination. Does this represent cross-pollination?
No.
No. So A is wrong and B is wrong. I will not even read them. C. The arrow represents self-pollination in an insect or a wind-pollinated flower.
Insect.
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 Now, why did you choose insect?
It
Because
has large
when it's
petals
self-pollinated,
and the anthers are not dangled outside.
Yes, you are both correct. It does have large petals and to attract insects, and all the flower parts are inside. They're not dangling outside, exposed to the wind. Good. 29. In a sperm cell, which structure contains enzymes that can digest the jelly coat?
Acrosome.
Prosome.
Very good. You're amazing. The following are involved in protein synthesis. In which order do they become involved when proteins are made? Okay. Huh?
D.
D?
C.
No, not D. C.
C. C.
C. The DNA is in the nucleus, and then the messenger RNA will move to the cytoplasm, and then it will pass through a ribosome. And the last thing, the amino acids will be assembled in order. So it is C. Okay, 31. A man of genotype AO and a woman of genotype BO, they have a child. What is the chance that the child will have the same blood group as one of its parents? This question, can we answer it by just reading it?
No.
We have to do
No.
a Punnett square. You have to. You will not get the answer except when you do a Punnett square. So I'm going to take my pencil and I will do a Punnett square on a side sheet or on the side of the exam here. Okay, I have AO and I have BO. This child will be AB, this will be BO, this will be AO, and this will be OO. What are the chances that a child will have the same blood group as one of its parents? How many children will have blood groups similar to the parents?
2.
1 in
Yes.
2.
2 out of 4. That will be divided by a common factor, so it will be 1 in.
1 to 2.
Yes, so the answer is C. So the moment you see an inheritance question, don't waste your time, do a Punnett square to get the answer. A man who has red-green color blindness has a child with a woman who does not have red-green color blindness. So they made it in bold here. She does not. The woman is healthy. The child is sick. The child has red-green color blindness. The man and the woman decide to have another child. What is the percentage that their next child will have red-green color blindness? Okay, do a Punnett square until I come back. Who figured out the answer? Okay, I want you to help me. A man that has red-green color blindness. And this is, what do you know about red-green color blindness?
It's excellent.
Very
It's
good.
ambiguous.
So what will be the genotype of this man?
XY.
Yes, as long as I know that the disease is X-linked, I will use the letters XY. And he is sick. What do you know about color blindness? It is a dominant disease or
Recessive.
recessive? So I will put the
Recessive.
first. Which letter will you choose? Choose any letter.
H.
H.
R.
Whatever, R. So I will put R small on the X or the Y.
And the
X.
X.
Yes, so this is the man, and he married a female that is healthy, but her son is sick.
She will be heterozygous.
Yes, so she is XX with R capital, R small. I will do my Punnett square. This is the father, X, Y, with R small on the X, nothing on the Y. And this is the mother, XX, with R capital, R small. This child will be a female that is heterozygous. She's a carrier. And this child will be a male that is healthy. Okay, this girl, my pen is not working, will be homozygous recessive. This girl will be sick. And this boy, this son, will be sick also. So what is the percentage of children that are sick?
50.
50%. Okay, I hope this is clear. 33, which type of variation can be inherited?
B.
B, those caused by genes, yes. 34, which features is a leaf adaptation for living in a hot, dry desert? X05.
D.
No, it's A. Look, I'll show you something. Fine, so I have here, where is this written? In variation and selection. In page 101. Here, actually, it's right there. Okay, look at point 6. Point 6 here. The leaves are walled with stomata inside, and the inner surface is covered in what? In hairs. These hairs, they prevent water loss by preventing transpiration. This traps moist air and reduces transpiration. We still did not take the lesson plant nutrition and transport in plants. When we study transport in plants, page 35, where is it? Here. Yes, page 35. Look at this page. We will study how to prevent the loss of water in plants that are living in dry conditions or the desert. Look at point 3. What does point 3 say? What does point 3?
Hairy leaves.
Hairy leaves. when the leaves are hairy, let me try to draw here. Yes, when I have a leaf that has stomata, we want to reduce the water loss from the stomata. So we cover the stomata with hair. This hair is going to increase the humidity around the stomata. So it will prevent water loss from stomata. I don't know if you understood this or lost or not, but we will explain it when we study this lesson. Some plants have hair on their leaves. This hair traps moisture next to the leaf, increasing humidity, and this will reduce transpiration. If you don't understand it very well, it's okay. We still did not take this lesson. But one of the features of plants like the cactus here that lives in the desert, we want to prevent loss of water as much as possible. So we have leaves that have very little surface area, like spines, like you see here. Okay, where's my pen? And the stomata is surrounded with hair so that I do not allow the loss of water. Clear? These are also features of xerophytes. So the answer is A. Do you all understand why it's A?
Miss,
Yeah.
point number 2 says a waxy layer in the notes.
Yes, you should have a thick waxy layer. D says thin waxy layer.
Oh, okay.
Good. I'm happy that you understand this question now. Okay. Now, 35. Which term is used to describe an organism that makes its own organic nutrients? This is easy.
Producer?
C.
Producer. Yes. We finished this exam. The remaining questions are all ecology, and we did not take ecology yet. Okay, do we solve the other exam? The other exam is very easy. We solve it together, or I trust you and you will solve it alone. Hello? Girls?
Yeah, so it's solved alone.
Okay, solve it alone because the questions are very recent and they're important. Okay, on Tuesday, we will revise reproduction and inheritance. See you Tuesday. If you have any questions, send me. Bye.
Bye.